There's definitely a glow to her that's amazing. Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. I really made it a point to avoid talking about this particular person just because I didn't want to give them more attention to influence young people or people in general into thinking that their body was attainable. I'm talking about Eugenia Cooney. For a long time, I definitely thought that she was putting out a silent message that was deadly. A lot of her videos were about physical appearance. It was a lot. The videos that I have seen of hers were like clothing videos, so you really see her whole body, and as we all know, it was concerning to say the least. For a while there, she had disappeared from social media. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought she died. Like, if anyone was on that rumor train, I certainly was, or at least she was really sick. And the hope, though, in the back of my mind, the hope was that she was getting help. And luckily that is the case. Thanks to Shane Dawson's new documentary, he has opened up the conversation to discuss eating disorders. We put people on pedestals, but they're not perfect, and it's important to not try to strive to be like those people on pedestals. The version of people that we, look up to is not the whole story. And with this situation specifically, you could physically see the suffering in her. It just wasn't being acknowledged or spoken about, and it's really important to speak about these things. So it took me roughly 3 attempts to watch the documentary that Shane Dawson put out on Eugenia Cooney, just kind of giving her a chance to, in her way, tell her story and kind of shed some light and hope to help other people. I started it, I think I got 6 minutes in and I had to turn it off, and then I tried to watch it on another day and I got probably like 10 more minutes in, maybe 20 minutes in. I had to turn it off again and recoup and come back to it on another day where I watched the entirety of it. And I just wanted to talk about a few key points, things to keep in mind. And of course, I did not take notes, so I have to recall things.
Hi there, it's Katie again. The more we keep things secret, the more power they have over us. Because the one thing we don't want to do is not talk about it. They can really be helpful for you to understand what they're experiencing so that you can be better equipped to be supportive and not intrusive. We want to open the door for more conversation. You don't want to force it. And you don't want your daughter to feel like you're just hounding her. Because what that does is it makes us retreat more. It makes us worry. And then we think that all you're noticing we care about is the food. And it's not about the food.
Near the beginning of the documentary, Shane Dawson meets with, she works with patients who suffer from eating disorders. And I'm not sure what she is exactly. I think her name was Kate, something like that. And one thing she did mention, and I think it's very good to emphasize it again, is that not to comment on the person's physical appearance. And she mentioned something like, if you tell a person that, oh, you look healthy, they're going to, their brain is going to translate that to, oh, I look fat. Someone who's suffering from an eating disorder can find a negative in a compliment. That is spot on, perfect. You can find the negative in any compliment. And it made me start to realize how often I do that. And I'm so bad at taking a compliment. Not sure why you're telling me these nice things because I don't think I deserve it and I don't think they're true. But thank you. So I thought that was really good, opening, don't comment on how she looks, she's gonna look different. There was, at the bottom of the screen at one point, it said, you look great, and it took the word look out, and it said, you are great. And I think that's even a great way for people who want to be supportive, the people on the outside who are looking in, wanting to help people. They have to make those conscious verbal decisions of removing the physical observation word and putting in like the statement of you are this thing, like you are great, you are good, are these things, you are, because the person, their confidence is crushed. So you have to help build that confidence up, and you have to build the confidence not within their physical appearance. Like their confidence has to come from within, not from their outward appearance. She's only been recovering for a short period of time, and the language they were using almost came across like she is recovered and she's well and now she can tell her story, and here's this documentary for her to share her story. Her story has just started. Her story is not over. This is not the end of recovery. She is at the beginning of recovery, and I think that is the most important thing that I hope she knows, and I hope the audience watching her knows, that this is not the end. This is merely the beginning. Recovery is about a choice. When you recover from alcohol or drugs, and this is not to say one addiction is easier than the other, because they're all equal. Drugs and alcohol are not necessary for life, but food is. And so recovering from an eating disorder is about making a conscious decision, a choice every single day to put your health first and to shut off the eating disorder in your head. It is a constant list of choices daily. And that's why it's an ongoing thing, because you have to eat. You have to. And it's about making those choices every single day. So I hope, and I'm sure she has great doctors, great therapists, great people surrounding her, but I hope she knows that this is not the mark of the end. This is the mark of the beginning. Keep consciously making the choice for your health, for your life, for your future. Keep making those choices. In the documentary, they never get into like specifics, which is good. That can be detrimental, that can be dangerous to get into specifics. It's not important to figure out the why or the how this happened. What's important is how are we going to fix it, or how are we going to make it better, or how are we going to move forward from that. That's the important part. So we can speculate all we want. Is it going to help any? Probably not. It's important for her to figure out what is going to help her move forward. I think this documentary, I think a lot of people could take this as like the end of a conversation, but I think the documentary needs to act as the start of a conversation. I think people need to really start talking more about eating disorders, because they plague lives. I mean, it is a plague that just takes over, and it's frightening and scary, and it makes you feel alone. And I'm sure she felt alone a lot of the times, and it feels like you don't have anyone to turn to, even when you know something is wrong, but you don't have anyone to turn to. When you're in it, you don't always know you're in it. And she's talking about it, and like she didn't think it was as bad as it was. She didn't know how bad it was. Even when people were telling her, she was so in it that she didn't really hear what they were saying. And I remember that so clearly, doing the same thing. Like people would kind of make comments or things like that, and I kind of brush them aside, because it's like, they don't know what they're talking about. I know what's best for me, and this is what's best for me. And I didn't even realize it was an eating disorder. I just thought I was eating less. I didn't know I was starving myself. Her words described my experience and my memories of a lot of instances that occurred with me. And so it was really, I know it's going to sound weird, it was really neat to be able to watch something and completely understand what YouTube is kind of all about, is like finding that connection. And I think that's like kind of cool. I wish her all the best. I truly believe everyone and anyone is capable of change. I've heard people say that they thought she was helpless, like there's no chance for her. My true belief is that anyone, no matter how far gone you are, you can always come back from it. I'm hoping she keeps fighting, she stays strong even when it's hard, because that's what it's all about, is fighting through the hard times. I support her and her recovery, and I support anyone who is doing what they need to do to better themselves. So that is that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for more videos about eating disorders, eating disorder recovery, my journey through an eating disorder and into my recovery. So subscribe. If you watched the documentary and you got anything out of it that I didn't mention, or you saw something a little bit differently, or if you just have a comment or a question or anything, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Bye!